Hey guys. So today we are going to be looking at the Stateless and Stateful DHCPv6 Cisco lab. And yeah, so basically we're just going to get started now. So some of our objectives, we're going to look at topology real quick. That should be pretty self-explanatory. So we're going to configure the network for Slack, and then Stateless, and then Stateful DHCPv6. So first, right now I am in my personal computer, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at the switch first. And so we're going to go ahead and set that up properly. These are fresh, clean switches. I reset the configuration on the switch and the router, so be sure you do that. So first of all, be sure you do enable, and we're going to go look at the Sdm Templates. Okay, and then you can see all the different templates there. And now we're going to go allow the Cisco switch to use an Sdm template that'll let it do DHCPv6, or IPv6 rather. So we'll do conft, and we're going to do Sdm prefer. We're going to use tab, so watch this, type out dual, and then all I do is hit tab and it types out the rest for you. And then just DE tab. And tab keys are going to really help you out. So we're going to do end, and then we're going to issue a reload, and we're going to confirm and proceed with the reload. And then now we're going to go in console into our router, and we're in the router. So now in part 1 it says cable the topology is shown. You should already done that. If you haven't already reloaded the router switch, it's necessary to do so now. So now we're going to configure router 1. So I'm going to enter enable, conft, and do no IP domain dash lookup, because the domain lookup is allowed by default. So we're going to disallow that. And to encrypt plain text passwords, and we're going to change the host name to R1. Our enable secret, class, and we're going to go create a mot.d banner, basically letting everybody know that unless you have access to be here, then if you don't, that you shouldn't. So we're going to enter config line, set the login password, and type login. Make sure y'all can see that well. There you go. So this is one of my favorite commands, is logging synchronous. So you know how the router yells back at you whenever you're doing commands sometimes? This command gets rid of that. So v2y 0 space 4. Oh, I typed it wrong. v2y, there we go. And again, password Cisco. And we're going to set that to login. So now we're going to do copy running config to startup config. It's going to build, and it's okay. So now we're going to go configure switch 1 with basically the same thing that we just did on R1. So we're going to plug the console cable into our switch, and then Yep, looks like the switch is already telling us stuff. That's cool. So we're just following along with the lab here on step 4. So we're going to do conft, oh, sorry, enable conft. It's late. Go no IP domain lookup. Or not. Oh, it would help if I spell it right. IP domain lookup. I'm going to encrypt the plain text passwords and set the host name to switch 1. And our enable secret is going to be class. And we're going to go set a mott banner again. Going to go into config line and password Cisco. Set that to login. Do logging synchronous. Let's go login and exits. And we're back after a quick break. So here in the lab in step 4 and part C in step 4, it wants us to administratively disable all inactive interfaces. And this is so that if physical security was breached and somebody went to plug in an Ethernet cable to one of the ports, it wouldn't even work. So the way we do this is we do 1 through 4 in this case. And we're going to tell it what to do with that range. We're going to tell it to shut down. And now, yep, see, changed to administratively down. So we want to keep 5 and 6 up because those are the only ones that the switch is using for this lab. So then now we have to do the same thing again. And we're going to do interface, range, and then, again, if I could spell, 7 through 24. We're going to type shutdown. Then we could do, even if you want to, it's not even really necessary, but you can do the Gigabit interfaces as well. Type shutdown. Type exit. And you see those went down. So to verify that, even though it outputted it, you do show IP int brief. And we keep on going. And there you go. So 5 and 6 is what we're going to be using for this one. What you can do is you can do it on the VLAN too, but we don't need to do anything with that right now. So continuing on, we're going to save the running configuration to the startup configuration. So we're going to do copy running config to startup configuration, enter, and it's going to build it, and it's okay. So moving on to part 2 of the lab, we're going to configure the network for Slack. So we're going to prepare PCA, and in part A, in step 1, it says verify the IPv6 protocol has been enabled on the LAN properties window of the internet, blah blah blah, checkbox not checked, click to enable it. So that's what we do right here on all Windows machines. We're going to right click this, network settings, change adapter options. It's going to open up this. And what we're going to do is just right click this, go to properties, and you see that this is enabled, IPv6 is enabled. So what you do is if it was like this, the changes aren't going to take effect until I press OK. And close out this box, of course. So we're going to press OK on here. and we're going to close out of here. So now that changes should take effect. So that's for PCA. It gets a little complicated with Linux. You have to go edit the resolve.conf/etc/resolve resolv.conf. Y'all can Google search on what to do in there. So right now we're going to start a Wireshark capture filter on the NIC. The capture filter we want to use right now is IPv6 destination =, and set it to ff02::1. And you have to hit the blue thingy to do that. And then we're going to go configure R1. Yep, R1 con now available. Type in your Cisco password, enable class. So IPv6 unicast. Actually, we have to enter T. Unicast routing. There it is. Just enter it just like that. We're going to assign the IPv6 address to the Gigabit 01 interface according to the addressing table. So I know that we're going to be in Gigabit 01. So the first thing I do whenever I enter an interface that I know that I'm going to have to change to up at some point is I change it to up. Type no shutdown. That's the biggest thing that I've seen in the lab, is people forgetting to do that one command. So just save yourself the trouble of having to troubleshoot in the future and do it now. Sometimes it could cause problems, but most of the time it will not. So the address it wants us to assign to Gigabit 01 according to the lab is IP is 2001:db8 ACAD:(A:1), and our prefix length is 64, so no space, and just /64, and that's that done. IPv6 address, then FE80:1, and then type the word link and tab and link local, and then now it says to activate the interface, but we already did that. So now what we're going to do is end out, and we're going to do show IPv6 interface Gigabit 01. And what we're looking for that Gigabit 01 is part of the all router multicast group FF02:2. Our messages are not sent out of Gigabit 01 without that group assignment. So we're going to look, and you see right here FF02:2. So now we know we've done it right, and we can move on to step 4. So we're going to do conft. We're going to do int VLAN1 IPv6 address autoconfig, and do end, and we're going to do show IPv6 interface, and it'll output us a nice bit of info here. And what we're looking for is to verify that Slack provided a unicast address to VLAN1 on switch 1. So we're going to look, see, here's our global unicast address, and here it is. So that's working properly. And we also want to check is the default router. So the link local address is here on VLAN1, so that's good too. So now on step 6, part A, we're going to verify that Slack provided IPv6 address to PCA. So to do that, we'll just type CMD, hit enter, do IP config, if I could spell, config/all, We're going to look, and you can see we do have an IPv6 address with our prefix here. So that is looking pretty good. So our default gateway, yep, FE80, 1. So from Wireshark, we're going to look at one of the RA messages that were captured. So we're going to go expand the ICMP message, one of them. We'll just go expand this one. Resize this for better viewing. And what we can do is we're going to expand this. And if you look back at the lab, the flags and the prefix information, so we're just going to go expand this right here. And it wants us to look at the flags. So we want to make sure this is not set, which it is. We'll just say it's good for now. Yeah, target address. There we go. So part 3, configure the network for Stateless DHCPv6. Configure an IPv6 DHCP server on R1. So part A has us creating an IPv6 DHCP pool. So nothing new, just using version 6 instead of version 4, which y'all are used to. conft IPv tab. So DHCP pool. And we're going to give it a name. So IPv6 pool A. So we're going to assign it a domain name. So domain name CCNA Stateless DHCPv6.com. So we're going to assign a DNS server address in part C. So DNS, tab it out, 2001 DB8 ACAD ABCD. And we're going to exit out. So now we're going to go into the Gigabit 01 interface, and we're going to assign the pool to the interface with IPv6 DHCP server, and then the pool name, so IPv6 pool A. So now we're going to verify DHCPv6 settings on the Gigabit 01 interface on R1 here in step 2. So we're going to do show IPv6 interface, use tab again, G0/1. So what we're looking for is this right here, and that matches what we see in the lab. So we are going to go just under these ND messages here. At the bottom, say host, use DHCP to obtain other configuration. That's good. So in step 3, we're going to view the network changes to PCA, doing ipconfig all. You see our connection specific DNS suffix is CCNA Stateless DHCPv6.com, and our DNS server is reading properly. So we're going to reset PCA, the network settings. So in part A, we're going to go shut down the number 6 fast Ethernet port on switch 1. So conft go interface 6 and shut down. So we're going to stop the Wireshark capture traffic on PCA. Reset the IPv6 settings on PCA to remove the stateless DHCPv6 settings. So the way we do that here in Windows, so you go here, and check this, and close and click OK to change the settings. And now we're going to enable it again and close it out. So we're going to go open Wireshark again. So in Wireshark, we're going to look, there's no traffic coming in on the Ethernet. Nothing. So we're going to go apply a filter. So IPv6, destination 02, 1. And use that. Part 4, step 1, we just did that. And we're going to go to our router and conft IPv6 DHCP pool, and then IPv6 DHC, actually IPv6 pool, sorry, -a, and then AD is all I typed, and then tab, then prefix 01 db8 colon ACAD 1A colon, and then our prefix length of 64. So we're going to change the domain name to Stateful DHCPv6.com. Get rid of the domain name we have right now, and unfortunately it doesn't let us tab it out. Stateless DHCPv6.com, and now we're going to go set the domain name to CCNA-stateful DHCPv6 end. So now we're going to go verify these settings, and we're going to use show IPv6 DHCP pool, and you see our domain name has changed from Stateless to Stateful. Now we're going to go enter debug mode. Debug IPv6 DHCP detail. So now IPv6 DHCP debugging is on and detailed. There are different levels of debugging, but we'll go over that at a later date. So now we're going to set the flag for debugging onto the Gigabit 01 interface. So now this is when we issue shutdown and the do no shutdown. So, yep, there it goes. And now we're going to do IPv6, and then I just hit M and then tab, and then it did all that. So no shut, and it gets that far, and end. So now we're going to enable the fast Ethernet number 6 port on switch 1. So we're going to do no shutdown, end. Yep, and you see it's changed up. So now we're going to go back to R1. We're going to do show IPv6 interface Gigabit 01. Oh yeah. So now in step 5, part A, we just did that command, and all the way at the bottom, before it gets to all this debugging information, this is going to go on for a little bit. It's going to go back up to where we were. And then the lab wants us to make sure hosts use DHCP to obtain routable addresses, and that's what it says. And in command prompt, we're going to make the computer request an address. So we do that by doing ipconfig/release and 6. So 6 is for IP v6, and if it was just doing this for IPv4, you would just do release. So do that. And you look, and it's probably talking about our computer over here. And so we're going to do renew 6. Yep, there it goes. So when you see all this is something to think about whenever you join a network, like what's actually going on. Anywho, so we've done that, and we're going to go look at the pool, that command we did earlier. So do show IPv6 DHCP pool, and you look, see, I'm not a liar. Active clients 1. So now we're going to do show. I can type IPv6 DHCP binding. When we're looking here, or what we're looking for here, is the client's address. So there's the client address. Then the other address here. So this is when the DHCP lease expires for this client. And now, we're going to go to command prompts. We're just going to do IP. Well, first we can do clear, and we'll do ipconfig/all. And we're going to look and see if our address matches the one in command prompts. So let's see. 201db8 ACAD A 5451 8281 360E 6880. That matches. And there's our link local. Yep, there's our link local. Great. And it does that. So now all this stuff that it outputted, we're going to go look back at that. We're going to go look at the solicit message from PCA. And let's see. Receive solicit from on the interface. And now what we're looking for is sending reply. Sending reply on Gigabit 01. There it is. So that's good. And we're going to go look the ending here. So the IPv6 address, and this, and then the lease time, how long it's valid. That's correct. Prefix and DNS. So we're going to go verify Stateful DHCPv6 on PCA. So we're going to go stop the Wireshark capture. Click stop. And we're going to go expand the most recent RM message list in Wireshark and view the managed address configuration flag has been set. So we're going to go check this out. Actually, let's do this one. That's the most recent one. Click the flag. Managed configuration, managed address configuration is set. And so that's good. And you expand all these. So this looks all good. Don't see why this wouldn't be. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any problems. So the reflection, just let you do that on your own. If you followed along thus far, then you should have no problem doing that. And then you'll be done with the lab.